Hello, everyone. Welcome to another week of Collingwood Connection. I'm Will, joined by the Fossil as always. How you going, Fossil?
Yeah, good. Thanks, William. Good. Yeah, very muggy down here at Patterson Lake. The boys have got a big game up in Ballarat tomorrow. I don't know what the conditions are going to be like, but I'll test them out. But I'm sure, with the young kids in the side, they'll acquit themselves quite well.
Yeah, fingers crossed. No injuries, a touch wood or anything like that. Fossil. Last week, a bit of a runaround against the Giants. They got through unscathed. That's the main thing. In the last quarter, I think they just put the cue in the rack and finished it up. No one should be worried about preseason results unless the Blues are obviously premiers in the preseason games. So yeah, don't take any notice of that. Yeah, as long as they get through unscathed against North Melbourne and ready for the big round zero game next week, Fossil. So very
Yeah,
exciting. Start of the season.
yeah. When the 4 points are up, they'll get fair dinkum. Well, yeah, I think they just sort of try plays in different positions and give the younger ones a go, and learn off Pendles and Sidebottom and these sort of guys. But yeah, once she comes up for the 4 points, she'll be all systems go, and then they'll start getting fair dinkum.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing. All right. So we'll start off this week. The round zero predicted teams. We might vary on a couple, Fossil, but I'll let you take the reins this week. And yeah, it'll be interesting. Maybe a couple of young players might put on the black and white for the first time. But yeah, it'll be very interesting probably Friday, I think we'll get the squads and then, yeah, not the official teams, maybe even Saturday night. So wait and see for that next week, but we'll have a crack ourselves, Fossils. So I will throw it across to you. Just let me share screen here. All right, there we are, Fossil. So can you see that, Foss? You're good?
Yep.
Yeah, you can see that.
Yeah, I got that there, William. Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And a shout out to Zero Hanger guys for pick your team. I think most Collingwood supporters, especially Fossil, likes to write them all down in biro. Yeah, like to do their
It's the way to
predicted.
go, William. The biro
Yeah,
never lies, mate. That's how you put them down there, I'm
showing
telling you.
showing your age a little bit there, Foss. But yeah, it's good. It's a good system. You can go through pretty much every squad in the league. But yeah, I like to go do my Collingwood list on this Fossils. So far away, we'll start off with the defenders in the back pocket.
Yeah, I've got Quanar in one back pocket, Will.
Nice and easy. Yeah,
Yeah,
Quainer.
yeah. Frampton at full back because I think Moore and Howell and Hill at the moment will be probably the three missing. So I've gone for Frampton at full back
Yep.
and Maynard in the back pocket.
Rozzy. Yep.
Yeah, and the half back line, William, I've got Houston.
So I think he'll be a backman this year more than on the
Oh,
wing, sort of half forward, or you think?
yeah, he could play in a few positions, but I think they might start him up there. And I think like everybody else is just hoping that it was he can kick on a lot better than he did last year. But I'm sure being around the club for 12 months, hopefully he'll have a good season. So I've got on him one half blank and McGuinness at centre half back. I think they're sort of tossing up between him and Cochrane at the moment, but McGuinness might just get the nod
He's
depending
put
on the
on a bit of
matchups.
size. Yeah, obviously missed all last year, and he's put on a bit of size. I think he can lift the most weights, the heaviest weight in the club, Fossils. So yeah,
Yeah,
strong young
no,
lad.
no. Yeah, yeah. I think he's 23 and about 193 centimetres. And like you said, he's a powerful boy. Yeah, depending on the matchups, but I think he might just get the nod. And then I've got Josh Dacos on the other halfback flank.
Well, I think we'll get to some positional changes. I think I disagree, Foss. I think they've been running him around through the midfield, each to their own. But yeah, I think Josh Dacos will see a bit more in the centre this year. But anywho, we'll jump forward. So that's the back six, still pretty solid. Obviously Braden Maynard can play tall or small. Even Quanar, he kind of sometimes goes up against someone a bit taller than him. So. Yeah, fairly balanced, and I guess if Josh Dacos is there, that gives us a bit more pace off the half back line.
Yeah, well, and like you said, well, they can always swim around. I think with you too, you'll probably go through the midfield a lot, like, with the older players there and give them a bit of a chop out. But depending on the matchups, like I think St Kilda are fairly slippery, so it just depends on how they line up as to where he probably plays. But I think, yeah, like you said, he'll end up in the midfield at some stage for sure. So,
Yeah.
so I've just got him on the halfback flank for this game, and then the centre line I've got Steel side bottom.
So have you got him on
Um,
the wing or?
yeah, I've got him on the wing, Steel
Yeah.
side bottom on the wing, and I've got DeGoey in the centre,
Yep.
and I've got young Rowan Steele. I think he might be one of the three newer ones that might get a Guernsey at the start of the season. I've got him on the wing. He can run all day, and hopefully he has a good game if he's playing tomorrow. And yeah, I think he could add a bit of pace to the side, and he
So on
runs up
the,
and down.
sorry, Foss, on the wing, or do you think
Yeah,
more in the
yeah.
center?
No,
Yep. No, go
no,
on
I
the
think
wing.
I think on the wing will, yeah, but like he is a midfielder, but they're the type of ones if they get seven or eight or nine of them, they can swing around depending on how they go. But yeah, I'd start him on the wing, and we got there
Or
Darcy
your
Cameron.
followers, I don't think you're
Yeah,
picking another ruckman, Foss. So
no,
Darcy
we got
Cameron
Darcy.
straight in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ned Long
Yep.
and
Bull.
Nick Dacos.
Oh,
Just gives
just a
him.
casual, yeah, little
Yeah,
selection there.
I think he might. I think he might get a game. Well, we might be able to
You
sneak him
can't
in there.
you
So,
can't poll a Brownlow vote, but yeah, no, he'll be all
well,
right. It's funny how they've changed the rules now for the Brownlow. The umpires have more access to stats, and it might be too little, too late. But I think he might have a couple Brownlows around his neck if they had been looking
yeah.
at that the last couple of years. But anyway, as Pies fans, we'll move
Exactly
on
right.
and
Exactly
yeah.
right, Will. And then I've got another one, Harvey Harrison. I think
So
very,
half forward flank
yeah,
this is now. Yep.
coming back from injury, Harvey Harrison. Hopefully he's fitting well, and he'll give them a bit of a bite round that forward line, which they need. Then I've got Jack Buller at centre half forward.
Jack Buller, fair enough. Could be the recruit of the year.
He
Big
could be.
boy.
He could be. If he ends up like we got Cameron fairly cheap, Williams. So if he ends up like him, I think we'll do okay. And then I've got McQuarrie. Like there was a bit of doubt about him, but he seems to be playing all right, Will. So I'm going to put him on the other half forward flank.
Yep.
And he's another one that can go on ball. He can get in there and pinch hit and give him a bit more pace if they need more pace in the middle. So I've got him on the half back flank. And in the forward pocket, I've got Jamie Elliott.
Yeah, I think he's a lock in the best
Uh,
23 every week.
yeah, and I think we'll put McStay at full forward.
Yeah,
I'll start up
McStay.
between him and a few young ones, but I think you got to have a bit of experience here. I think first up, so I think they'll give him a crack and see how he goes. Then I've got the tackling machine in the other forward pocket, Schultzy.
Guilty. Pressure
Put
King.
some pressure on there, which is really handy. Will to get turnovers, especially down there. And then the interchange, I've got a few young fellas on the interchange with him. I've got Pendlebury.
Yep, one of the youngest.
Yeah, a few young blokes on the
Seven
interchange.
odd games to go, Fossil, and he's there.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
can
Yeah,
I
Chris.
ask you, Fossil? Sorry, I don't mean to bring up your age regularly, but Michael Tuck or Boomer Harvey, like, did you think back, previously Michael Tuck, did anyone look like playing that many games back in the day until I guess
Nah,
Boomer? Yeah,
no, you don't, Will, because like the seasons were shorter, and not as many games as they play now. But for a man to do what he's done, in this day and age, it's just absolutely magnificent, and just what is it, round seven? Is it if everything goes well? Yeah,
yeah, well, and not
yeah,
just the yeah around round seven, but not just the the games played and Boomer Harvey comes out and says that he could probably have played another season or two, and I was surprised that no club picked him up, even if it was just to teach some young kids, but it's the quality that Pendlebury still brings. I mean, towards the end of last year, they switched him to halfback flank, which I think he'll feature a lot more in this year. We'll talk about that next, but it's just his level of consistency at an average of 25 disposals over your career. That's pretty incredible, and considering some of those down games, and he doesn't get injured obviously very often, but yeah, even in his later stages, he's still able to get himself up and get his body right. So no, it's incredible, really,
yeah,
what he's
no,
done.
he's been absolutely magnificent. Well, like you said, and it's just on field too. Will you see where he's getting the young blokes to stand? He's virtually coaching on the field as well as playing. And he's got to be magnificent for those young kids. Him and Side Bottom and these more experienced players. And I think
Yeah.
if we can help them out, once they do retire the older guys, hopefully the young ones can step up, but they're very lucky to have somebody like that to learn from. So, yeah, so hopefully all goes well for him till round 7. So I've got him on the interchange with Chris.
Yep, another young fella. Yep.
Yeah, another young fella. Then I've got Lipinski.
Lipinski, one of my boys, is very, very good player. Lipinski.
Yeah,
Yep.
very good user of the ball. Will hopefully you can pick up, and Perryman's the other one. Will.
Perryman. Yep.
And depending on form, I've got two here. I've got Allen or Prindle.
I know you love Printable. I'm sorry, Foss. You're gonna have to pick one though. You can't sit on
Well,
the
I'm going
fence.
for. I think we'll go for the young fella, Printable. Will I think so? There's about what 3 or 4 that will play their first games for a while. So, and Allen's very unlucky, but I think you've got to give them a crack and see how they go. So, so
I
that's
think
my
from
team for
what
the opening round.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Each their own with this fossil, but I think the way that McRae was talking about Ed Allen, I reckon he's going to be pulling it on the jumper that first week because yeah, he was probably our best against the Giants last week, albeit a practice match. But that big body midfielder, we know he is, and hopefully I just think he's going to be an absolute star going forward. So hopefully the Pies can hold on to him because he's going to get that interest from WA, especially West Coast. They'll throw the kitchen sink at him. So I'm really hopeful to keep Allen. So we'll have a look at some of the players that missed out. You've picked a very senior squad here, Fossil, but I don't think you're far off. I'd probably have Buller closer to home, and McStay, I think, is just have better leading up the ground. He's got some good, strong arms on him. He needs to play well too, though, or else I don't think McRae will be as hesitant to throw him around the magnets this year. Just to give the guys a crack if they're out of form. They drop back to the twos and need to really prove themselves. So, but in
Yeah,
terms of compared to my team, yeah, I picked McInnes as well. Cochrane's going to be pretty close, and until Jeremy Howe and Moore, looks like they'll miss the first couple of rounds at least. Well, especially Moore, I reckon Jeremy Howe, I wouldn't be looking at until round 5 or somewhere around there because yeah, he's just got to get his body right. So we'll just have a look at a couple of players that you didn't have in. So Ed Allen, I think, is going to be playing, and Angus Anderson. Big angry. He threw his bodies around last week in that practice game against GWS. So he's really trying to make an impact, and that's what the young fellas have to do. They really have to put their hand up. So he's doing himself no trouble there by showing he's a big bulking midfielder. Tim Membry going by just I guess how McRae's picked in the past. I wouldn't be surprised if Membry gets a Gansey as well, playing against his former side. But I mean, he nearly kicked 2 goals a game last year or just under that. So yeah, very very good contributor. You obviously can't pick them all, but it's not a bad thing that we'll have these guys really pushing for selection. Sullivan, he's always like that number 25, 26 man. He's always going to be thereabouts, and when his time does come, he'll be ready to go. So, yeah, no, I think it's a pretty senior team we're going to have, but yeah, we'd like to have some of those young fellas pushing through fossils to really
yeah,
challenge the best
yeah.
23.
Yeah, well, the only reason I didn't have the 3 tools here because I think St Kilda are fairly quick, and I just thought with the 2 tools and the 4 quicks in the forward line, we could probably put more pressure on when they get the ball coming out of their defensive area. So that was the only reason that I didn't take the 3 memory. But anyhow, they'll get their chance at some stage. So whoever they do get picked, they've got to make the best of their chances because you've got young West and young House also in the background, depending how they go. So there's at some stage you're going to start bringing a few more young ones in, depending on how the older bodies are holding up. So, yeah, it's good to have competition, Will, and just hopefully, when the guys do get picked, they take their chances and, they've got to force them to keep picking them.
Yeah, exactly. And pressure on for spots is what it's all about. You especially if we're hopefully in winning form, but you still want the guys to be pushing to make them all better. So yeah, no, it's not a bad problem to have. So I'll chuck Printable back in. You think Fossil? I'm gonna say if I had to guess one of them that my boy Angus Anderson. I reckon he might get the nod, even if he's the 23rd man, just to come on and put a bit of
Yeah, he's a pretty,
physicality in. We've got,
yeah,
yeah, because with De Goey in the midfield, but if they do want to have him, I'd love to see De Goey. I know he plays this role probably the best when he's on song, and he's had a great preseason so far. So touch wood, everything goes well. But more that attacking style where he, you know, I'll say Dustin Martin like he's not. I don't think he's that level, though we've seen at his best he's pretty close. That Dusty didn't worry as such about that defensive side, and you got to have the guys in there like Ned Long and Angus Anderson and obviously Nick Dacos and that they need to they're great attackers, but they need to be conscious defensively. If De Goey can be more that attacking side and we can get him, getting the ball forward or going up to the half forward line to be in a scoring position, that's just his bread and butter. So he's really going to be damaging if he gets his 20 to 18, 20 touches and can kick a couple of goals. Like that's what we need out of him pretty much each week. So that could help our scoring. That they're really touchy about the forward line. We're going to have a lot of critics as always, but I think Buller and McStay, they should probably get first crack, and then yeah, it's up for grabs if they're not quite performing. And I think Tim Membry, McRae seems to have some favourites, and yeah, Membry will definitely feature a few times, especially if he's in form. So yeah, these guys really got to make sure they're pushing on with that fossil.
yeah.
Yeah,
You're spot on there, William, with to go in. I think that's sort of where Pendles comes in. Like if he does attack, Pendlebury sets up behind the ball so they make sure they're covering his man if he stays back, and that allows Digoe to attack. And I think that's better. Like if he can get, like you said, 20 possessions and a lot around the half forward line, he's not a bad kick for goal, and he can do a lot of damage. And then they'll just set up behind the ball and cover him till he gets back, or even if he goes down and has a rest in the forward line, it still takes a good player to look after him. So hopefully he can stay injury free, Will. And I think he's had a pretty good season so far, pre-season. So all looking forward. So hopefully he can keep his body right, and he'll be very dangerous for the Pies.
all right. Well, there you are, guys. We'll see as of next week. We'll see how close we are. Let's just hope for a nice, clean practice game. I couldn't care less about the result, even if we do get done by North Melbourne. I know they were pretty terrible last week, but it's a practice game. It's hasn't ever proven anything with the normal season. I mean, Brisbane and Geelong both went down to the Blues, and for all we know, they might feature again in the grand final. So I take absolutely no notice of this fossil. Just yeah, hopefully the boys are nice and fresh after the game. Just some positional changes. I think we touched on a few there, Foss, but Pendles to half back for me, Josh Dacos in the middle. One that they might experiment with, and I know that McRae's a bit hesitant at times, but even yourself last year was talking about McStay to centre half back to kind of give that extra support when we come up against a side that's got a tall forward line. We probably just need that. We're lacking maybe one big body. I know that they've got Maynard, Quain, or bigger guy Jeremy Howe. They can take the bigger bodies, but a couple of times last year we got found out, especially against I know Brisbane are the premier team, but Ty Gallup, one of the young stars, just got on top of us, and the likes of Charlie Dean, they weren't quite good enough to keep up with them. So McStay to centre half back, what do you think, or even helping out on the third tour? What do you think about that?
Yeah, that could be all right. Well, the only thing that worries me a little bit, like you said, it's horses for courses. But if they have him more, maybe Frampton, then and then you got Howard Maynard. We're not real quick. That's the only thing that sort of worries me a little bit there. But maybe if
I'm
they,
saying if Jeremy Howe like early start to the
oh, if
season,
Howe's out,
let's say they're in a bit of
yeah,
trouble. I'm saying that yeah, because Jeremy Howe obviously takes that third tall and he's great intercept marker and all that. I mean, if say it's Frampton, McStay, and McInnes, or Darcy Moore, Frampton, McStay, and then you've got
yeah, that could probably
Quaynar,
work. Well,
yeah,
yeah,
just
that could probably work. And then you get your three quicker ones there, depending who they're playing. But yeah, they could probably do that. They could try it. It just depends on the matchups. But yeah, if the other side's got three tools, it might be something they can do with him, swing him down back. I don't know where he's been training. Has he been training down the back at all, Will, or has he been doing any
He
back
did the
line
patches
training?
last
Or
year, but McStay, we know
yeah,
that he was a bit of a swingman. When we got him from Brisbane, he probably did his best work up forward with a pinch hit ruck. With those new ruck rules, it's going to be interesting who they do throw in to support Darcy Cameron because um, yeah, he's obviously going to take the bulk load, but yeah, these new ruck rules, I don't know if the AFL are going to change those rules sometime during the year. They might just have to come in with certain rules to how the ruckmen need to engage, or both ruckmen. They don't say both ruckmen need to jump at the ball, but we've seen a couple of practice games that they're trying to work each other out and get a free kick against them because you can't step over the line without first making contact, or they want them to jump at the ball. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know with our backup ruck option, between Buller, McStay, they might look at a couple of those guys. But yeah, I think McStay could be flexible. He can play back up ruckman or down forward. So uh, maybe a Lee Brown type fossil, hopefully, something like that.
well, he can do that. Like you said, yeah, we might have to get an American William about a 7'11" yank and put him in the ruck. They're gonna be like a bloody jump ball if they can't use their
Oh,
bodies.
I
That's why
know.
they did that to Coney, smiling because he's got a pretty good leap and long reach, and there's no body contact. Be like bloody basketball jump ball. So we better get on the Coxie and see if he's got any friends over there that are about 7'11". Will.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does hurt to lose Coxie is one of my favorites. Just
Yeah,
it's funny now he's gone to Freo. Probably the other supporters will love him, but they hate him at Collingwood, because he's wearing the black and white essentially. So, but no,
yeah.
I think he'll do very well. They've got enough ruckmen on their list, but yeah, I think Coxie will be very much suited for it. So. All right. Well, let us know, guys, what you think of our fossils predicted around zero. I'd have a couple of changes there, but yeah, let us know. Obviously, the practice game tomorrow might shape us and tell us, which sort of young players are coming through. I think the likes of Harvey Harrison and Ed Allen for me, pretty much locks fossil. But we'll wait and see. Some of those young players, we've got to start blooding them eventually. So. Fingers crossed, a nice result tomorrow, and we'll next week go on with our round zero preview fossil. First one for the year.
Yeah, it'll be good, William. Yeah, we get back into it. I tell you what, it's come around quick, doesn't it? So, yeah, once we get the teams up next week, and then we can jump back on and have a bit of a chat. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see which way they go. But hopefully, there's a bit of a mixture with a few young ones and the older brigade, and we can start off on a winning note against the Saints.
That'd be nice, especially since they've got endless amounts of money that they can throw at players. And yeah, for me, the NBA, the NFL, and the I don't watch soccer, but the cricket doesn't quite do it for me, Fossil. So thank God
Uh,
footy's back, and I don't care
exactly.
if they extend the season. I don't care if they chuck an extra couple of weeks on. I'm all for it. So. All right, thanks, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for the feedback last week. We got back to as many as possible. Sent through on the email as well. Maybe if you're like Fossil and not much on the social media, then that's Collingwood Connection 1 at gmail.com. And yeah, we love to get some responses. And if we get enough coming in, we'll even feature some on the episode. So thanks, Fossil. Another big
Yeah,
week ahead. And yeah, can't wait. Round zero is just around the corner. So looking
yeah.
forward to it.
Thanks, Will. Thanks, Will. Thanks, everybody. And yeah, hope you have a good week, and then we'll get back into it next week. We have a round one. Be
Go
beautiful.
Pies. Let's
Go
go, guys.
Pies.
All right. Till next
See ya.
time.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye. Bye.